There's a distinct, let's call it sophisticated yet welcoming atmosphere I found at the Bourbon Affair, where bartender Luke treated me to his creation, a bourbon smoke, along with options on how to enjoy it.
There's different smoke levels. When I first give it to you, it's going to be more on a caramel s'more side. So what I'm going to recommend is pour a little bit at a time and just turn it into 4 cocktails and enjoy it that way. Everyone's smoke level is a little bit different. And then once that smoke completely is gone, then they pour it and they like it super smoky, super peaty, almost scotch-like. The longer that smoke sits, the flavor's going to change. So the flavor profile is completely up to you.
It's this kind of personal touch, along with my affection for bourbon, that immediately drew me in.
You have an old fashioned, I have the bourbon and smoke, which we saw your bartenders make. You're talented bartenders here.
Very.
How did Bourbon Affair come about?
2014, we had hatched the idea of doing something local because my wife and I enjoyed traveling around, going to different bourbon bars, and decided that we needed something like that locally here, and actually opened in October of 2015.
Ryan Leonard co-owns a bar with his wife Stacy.
Are you a cocktail guy, or you prefer just like straight
Yes.
neat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
So I got an old-fashioned right now.
And what did you have in that today?
So this is one of our 4 original cocktails. And the old-fashioned that we make here, we make it with Old Grandad Bonded, which is 100 proof bourbon whiskey.
The Old Fashioned and Bourbon and Smoke are 2 of roughly 50 cocktails on the menu, along with a rotating seasonal list.
In addition to that, what you see on there, if you were to go to the POS, you'd find probably about 250, 300 unique cocktails. And it's all via experimentation. Yeah. So when we create that seasonal menu, the staff gets together, and it's all their own recipes that they come up with to create a seasonal menu.
I love old bars and old field bars, and this one has a lot of character and a lot of history to it, from the ceiling to the walls.
Yeah.
Talk about like how this came about and how you built this bar.
Yeah, so our tagline is probably like it's 1939, and so we were going for that old-timey feel. Originally set out to find an old bar and really couldn't find what I was interested in, and so ultimately, what you see here, all this wood was actually harvested from our family farm, the Leonard family farm, and created what you see here. So this was all standing dead ash trees.
Wow.
And so there were 62 logs actually that we hauled to mill. We sawed them up. We sent them to a larger shop that could dry the wood.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I partnered with a gentleman here locally, Bob Ebert. And Bob was the one that we sat down, started drawing, and ultimately he's the one that did the craftsmanship to create this. So what you see in the back bar is this leaded glass windows. The leaded glass here is from an architectural salvage shop out of Columbus, and then everything was kind of crafted around it.
And what about this? The old like tin?
Yeah, so the tin ceiling was reclaimed from a building here on Main Street in Findlay. And so we were able to get enough of that to do this portion here. So that's the original tin from downtown Findlay.
What's it like owning a bar?
It's a blast. Yeah, my wife and I love it. You know, the folks that work here, we enjoy getting to know them, and you know, they're part of the family here. And that's one of the things that we enjoy the most. But obviously the people too that come and go, the people that come here come because they want to be here.
Yeah.
And so they're naturally in a good mood.
I can't say enough good things about just being in here. Like, this is a place that if I lived around here, I would stop in all the time. So
we would welcome you.
One Tank Travel with Tim McMahon is presented by Shores and Islands, Ohio.